The following podcast is part of the MindBodySpirit.fm podcast network. Hi, I'm Lindsay, host of the Live Like Eden podcast. What do you do when your whole life flips upside down? Are you questioning everything, lost in chaos, or yearning for life's deeper meaning? I've been there, deep in the thick of it, unraveling my own awakening mess for over 20 years. Now I'm here to help you through yours. I share no-nonsense weekly wake-ups, cutting through the ego's illusions to wake you up to your own spiritual wisdom. No mountaintop list needed here, just practical tools, insights, and real-life experience to save you time. Plus, a much-needed laugh when we're all losing it. Let's dive into this fresh new episode. Today I'm here with best-selling author, manifestation coach, and co-host of the High Vibin It podcast, Kelsey Aida. Kelsey is here to discuss her upcoming book release in December of 2026 called The Manifestation Fix: Why the Law of Attraction Isn't Working for You Yet. She is here to talk shop about manifesting, everything you need to know of how to feel your way into manifestation and not just holding on to that outcome in your mind. Kelsey shares her personal journey into discovering the law of attraction and manifestation and why she's so committed to helping you discover yours. I will link everything about Kelsey in the show notes, including her personal one-on-one coaching sessions, her courses, and all the books that she's published. I hope you enjoy our chat today, and I'll be back with you all next week. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Live Like Eden podcast. I am so excited to be joined by Kelsey Aida. Kelsey, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, you are welcome. You are a manifestation coach. You're also a best-selling author, and you have a new book coming out in the fall, correct?
Yeah, it's actually December 1st, so late fall, early winter.
Well, winter.
Depending where you live.
Called The Manifesting Fix: Why the Law of Attraction Isn't Working for You Yet. And I love that you have that little yet in there. Before we get going, you're also a co-host of a great podcast, High Vibin It.
Yes.
Before we dive into what you're here to talk about, everything manifesting, I always love to start with hearing about your personal story. Like how did you get to this place in your life of sharing this knowledge with other people and putting your whole life into it, it sounds like?
Yeah, so there's two parts to the story. The first part of the story is when I was injured as a teenager, right before I was about to become a professional dancer and go to school for college and start auditioning for companies. And so I had dedicated my whole life to dance, only to have that come to a halt abruptly, which sent me spiraling into like a 3-year-long identity crisis, depressive episode. And towards the end of that 3 years, I had this realization that I wasn't always depressed. I used to love my life. I used to have hobbies. I used to have friends. I used to be functional. And I just said like this Hail Mary prayer. And I was like, universe, God, spirit team, whoever is assigned to me, like just send me some help, send me some support, send me some knowledge. Like, what do I need to do to love my life again? Like, I need to feel better. And so in that, I received a great shaman that I started working with, an amazing therapist. I started reading all the books, listening to all the podcasts, taking all the courses, and just learning about positive psychology, mindset, manifestation, spirituality, and everything was starting to make sense. I was implementing stuff. I had a strong gratitude practice in addition to all the healing work I was doing. And eventually I got better and I was healed from the depression. I was like, wow. If only more people had access and knowledge of these tools, right? Like,
Right.
We're not teaching this in school. It's not so mainstream. It's considered like woo-woo. So I was like, dang, I'm going to just spread the medicine and tell everyone what's been working for me. And I'm going to be like a proponent of this work. And so that's when I decided I was going to be an author. And then fast forward a couple years, there was another dark night of the soul moment. And I had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening, which basically translated into me becoming like an overnight psychic medium, which I didn't know that I had mediumship abilities or psychic abilities until this happened like in my mid-20s. So like my whole life, I just thought I was just normal. And so that just made it even a level deeper for like the work that I do and when I'm talking or writing, like channeling certain information, or when I work with clients one-on-one, like being able to see stuff and their energy or just know things that are going on or what where they should be going or whatever. So that was like Dark Night of the Soul Part Two. So basically, two Dark Nights of the Soul, and like a decade later, here we are, helping people to align with their goals, manifest their dreams through the books that I write, the podcast, coaching clients, sometimes retreats, and all that jazz.
Wow. So you are gonna, you just said Kundalini awakening. Well, I don't know. I went through a massive awakening myself, and I want to go there with you since you mentioned it. So
Yeah.
explain to me what you experienced in a Kundalini awakening, and I would like to know if you knew anything about it prior to it happening.
Yeah, so I knew of Kundalini yoga. That was what I was familiar with. And I had practiced a lot of yoga, but not Kundalini yoga. I had always practiced vinyasa, like
Mhm.
flow, because I'm a
Yeah.
dancer, so I like to flow. So I knew the term Kundalini, but I didn't really understand that it was like the energy at the base of your spine and blah blah. Like I didn't know all that yet. And I remember I had a long period of like releasing a lot of density from my body and heavy emotions, which was like the preface for it. Then I had a, let's call it a sexual encounter. And on the other side of that, I felt like in my body, it was this weird sensation I never felt before, where it almost felt like electricity on either side of my spine, like running up and down. It was like, woo, like running up and down. I was like, whoa, that's weird. I've
That's
never had that
crawling.
sensation in my life. And then the next day after it happened, I was thinking about how weird it was. And I was like, dang, that was really bizarre. That's never happened to me before. And then in my mind, I heard, you had a Kundalini awakening. And I was like, what's a Kundalini awakening? So I Googled it and I was like, could be. I don't know. Let's see. So I checked in with my shaman, who's the most psychic person I know. And I was like, what happened to me yesterday? Explain. And he was like, well, I'm picking up that you got a Kundalini awakening. I was like, oh my gosh, me too. So then I started researching and I was like, oh, yeah, this is kind of tracking. Because basically what happened was I was shedding so much density from my emotional being
Hmm.
that some like skyrocket of energy happened. And then the next day it was like psychic light bulbs turned on. And then I could like communicate with people on the other side. And I was like knowing a bunch of random stuff. And so for me, like my main gifts are claircognizance and clairvoyance. So I'm
Hmm.
very visual, or like I just know things. Like I don't
Yeah.
know how I know, but I know, you know?
Yeah.
So that just kind of opened up and then shit got weird.
It got weird. So when you have this energy coming up your spine, it's immediate psychic the next day. Like, how did this integrate? I'm just curious. Like,
The
are you?
integration was okay, so it was kind of like in that time, like within weeks,
Hmm.
I was starting to have dreams where did you ever watch that show? I think it's called Ghost Whisper with Jennifer Love
Oh
Hewitt.
yeah, a long time ago.
And she has
Yeah.
to like help them get to the other
Yeah.
side and they're always
Yeah. I
bothering her
love
and
that
stuff.
show.
Yeah. So I was having dreams and I would wake up at like 3 or 4 in the morning and there would be like spirits like around my bed and they'd be like, girl, we need you to tell such and such that like this and we're okay and we love them and blah blah. And I was like, what is going on? And luckily I knew some intuitive people. I knew some people with the gift of mediumship or people who had read my cards or different things. So I kind of confided in them and I was like, this weird stuff keeps happening to me. I don't know if it's real, if I'm making it up. And they were like, oh, girl, it's real. Like, you have the gift. Like, you need to lean in, you need to cultivate it. And I was like, I'm not trying to talk to no dead people. This sounds crazy. And they were like, no, it's okay. Just practice with people that you know who have passed, like your grandpa or whoever. And I was like, okay, let me try to do this intentionally and see what happens. And the first person I did it on purpose with was my grandpa, and I journaled a bunch of stuff that he wanted messages for all his friends and family and stuff. And I was like, well, I guess I got to call up my aunt and like tell her what he said. I guess I got to call my grandma and tell her what he said. And I was calling them like, they're going to think I'm crazy. This is insane. Like,
Yeah.
what if I did just make it up? It kind of feels like I made it up. And they would like start crying and stuff to what
Mm.
I was saying that he said. And then I was like, maybe there is something to this.
Yeah.
So it was like all this stuff was opening up, but I was extremely weirded out and skeptical of it. until it happened more and more. And even to this day, sometimes stuff will happen. I'll be like, nah,
Yeah.
but then it is.
Right. So, how long did it take you to build this trust that what you were bringing forward was actually legitimate? It wasn't because the fear always comes in, right? Oh, this
Yeah.
isn't the thing. But like you're
Yeah.
getting this reassurance from people around you.
Yeah. At least like a year or two. Probably the first year or two, I was like, I don't know. And now it's kind of like how the information comes to me can tell me if it's legit, or like when you receive the information and then you feel into it and then it resonates, you're like, ah, yes,
Yeah.
that feels like true. That feels grounded. That feels good. So yeah, it's been a wild ride.
So then for the law of attraction, are
Yeah.
you getting information from the spiritual realm as you do that?
Yeah, so I actually like interview the universe herself. So I kind of have like conversations with the universe. I don't know if you ever read the one that wrote Conversations with God. Have you read that?
Yeah, Neil Donald
Yes,
Walsh.
Neil
Yeah,
Donald
I've
Walsh.
read all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So it's kind of like that, but it's like Kelsey's interviewing the universe. I'm like, universe, tell us what's up. Like, why aren't our gifts like showing up? Why aren't our manifestations working? What's blocking everybody? And then I also use it to channel like what people would want to know. So like I'll tune into the collective energy and be like, what are the people's frustrations? Where are they getting most stuck? What do they want to know about achieving their goals? And then that all comes into the book, for example.
So let me just go back just for a second. So you wanted to
Yeah.
be a ballerina, right?
Yeah.
Is that right? I just felt like it was a ballerina. So
Yeah.
did you get injured? Were you injured or how
Yeah.
did, okay. So then your career is over. So
Yep.
I'm wondering, do you see that experience as like, you could say, well, I wanted to become a ballerina. That's my mindset, right? But that didn't happen. Do you see that as a possible, like, where what your mind wanted versus what your spirit's calling really was showing you
Yeah.
that? Because
Yeah.
that's something that I always think about when people talk about manifestation. It's like there's this discrepancy between, like what is our mind telling us, but what is our essence really wanting that maybe we're not in agreement with?
No, I'm totally with you. Like, we manifest from so many different points of attraction. One of them being your conscious mind, sure. Another one being your higher self, right? And your pre-birth intentions and all that. So, definitely, like, once I was healing from that and looking back on it, not sour, which a part of me still is sour. You can hear it in my voice.
Yeah.
Um, I was like, wow, that really did have to happen to initiate me into being this author and this teacher. And it's interesting because when I was little, I loved being on stage. I loved being in front of people. I loved performing. And in a way, I can still do that and have a creative outlet and be in front of people and be on stage and be like making a difference. But instead of from the entertainment, now it's just from a teaching or, calibrating people perspective. So in the end, it's like I kind of had a sense of where I was going, but I attached it to dance only,
Yeah.
not knowing what was actually ahead of me and what my spirit was like. Yeah, you've already done a lot of artsy stuff. We're gonna go a little more intellectual route this time.
I know. And you're like, no,
I was like, no, I want to be in my body. I want to dance. I want to have a simple life. No.
Well, maybe we could dive into that concept then, because, you're writing about what you work with a lot of people one on one for coaching them through. What do you find with people that's the most like, resistant thought, or why are they so stuck?
Yeah. So people get stuck for like in so many different flavors of the same things, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
like a lot of it can be narrowed down to your limiting beliefs or your stories or thoughts that are going on in your subconscious mind, or aspects of yourself that might not be on board with what you think you want, in the way that my higher self was not on board with ballet, like being my life path. There could be a part inside of you that's like not on board with getting in a relationship right now, even though consciously you're like really about that and you really want it. So in the manifesting phase, this is why I had to write a whole book on it, because resistance is not like black and white, like, oh, you have resistance and then you get rid of it. It's like depending what kind of resistance you have, there's like different ways to work through it throw it in the garbage, turn it into alignment. So what I notice with a lot of people is worthiness wounds for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Like just a lack of self-love in general will cause a lot of blockages. And then, of course, self-sabotage, which
Mm-hmm.
can come from usually like discrepancies inside that you aren't aware of. So you want to manifest more money, but you feel selfish for that, or you want to manifest the loving partner, but a part of you feels really traumatized from your last situationship, so you definitely don't want that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like you have to do a little bit of digging. But what I find with people is a lot of worthiness wounds, a lot of like internal conflict, like push-pull energy of they consciously want it, but subconsciously they don't want it. And then just any form of resisting, like your present moment, your emotions,
Right.
like where you are now, where you want to go. Like there's so many ways we can resist and it shows up for us. So it's important to like get a little curious and be like, do I have any resistance around this thing that I've been asking for forever, but it's not happening? Let's dive
Let's
in.
look. Yeah. Well, and you said something interesting. It's like people will say, well, I want more money, but,
Yeah.
or I want the perfect mate, but there's always this but. And like you said, it boils down to that unworthiness. I mean, I have people in my life where I always hear that I don't deserve that, or I don't believe I'm worthy of it. Then you have to dig deeper, like, what is that? Like, what is
Yeah.
that when the mind I think it's the mind covering up the
Yeah.
essence, right? But it's almost as if it doesn't want you to see your truest form of beauty that you are, right?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Because resistance can be on different levels, right? It can be like in a mental state, it can be like an emotional block, it could be like a past life thing, which I don't even get into in the book because that's just
That's a
like
whole nother book.
next level that we don't need to bombard people with right now.
Yeah, it is. That's
But
like a
it's
whole nother
like,
class. Yeah.
yeah, it could be so many different things, right? So it's like, for me, coming into more alignment with your goals starts with the game of curiosity. Like,
Mhm.
genuinely just not being mad at your resistance, because then you'll resist more. You're just going to resist your resistance, which is not going to be helpful. But to really find your resistance, just getting curious of like, is there any part of me that's not on board with what I say I want?
Mhm.
And then you just listen and you see what comes out to play.
Right. A lot.
Exactly.
And then people discover, oh my God, I have so many what if scenarios going on in the background of what I think I
Exactly.
want. Do you ever find that people actually think they want something, but then realize they don't, they want something completely different than that? They're actually not, they're not even seeing it accurately?
Yeah, because a lot of people want things and they don't realize that it's a means to an end. So they're not focusing on the goal of the goal, they're focusing on the goal that they think will get them to the goal. So what I have people do is like, yes, what's your goal right now? What are you trying to manifest? Is it the relationship, the money, the house, the raise, whatever, better health, you name it. But then why? Like the why you want that thing is the actual thing that you want. And usually it boils down to a feeling. So you want the money so you can feel safe and secure or abundant and luxurious. You want the relationship so you can feel loved, cherished, safe, chosen, whatever it is. So it's like those feelings, I call them, and I write about this in my new book, The Manifesting Fix, I call them your genuine desires. Like the surface desire is the thing, which nothing wrong with that. Like we're in a materialistic world to like have fun and play. Okay. So I'm not
Right.
shaming the surface desire, but underneath it, there's a genuine desire that if you actually go directly for that, the surface desire, if it's aligned, will probably show up as a side effect. But then you don't spend years trying to go for something that wasn't the right thing.
Well, I like what you say. You're going for the feeling, not the surface level object. So
Yes.
how would you instruct somebody to do that? So like let's say, I want this new position in a job or something. But instead
Yeah.
of focusing on that position, you would tell them what?
Well, I would ask them, tell me more about this dream position. Like, how are you feeling in it? Are you working in a team? Approximately, how much money are you making? How does that make you feel? Like, we would get down to, okay, if this was my reality, I think I would be experiencing these feelings
Mm-hmm.
because that is like pulling me to want that, right? Like I
Yeah.
want it so I can feel those things. So it's really just asking yourself, what do I want? And then what are the feelings that I associate with that thing that I think I'll have once I get it? And then taking it a step further, how can I start cultivating more of those feelings now? And what's been stopping me from feeling those feelings now?
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, people stop themselves from feeling those good feelings because, well, one, they make their goals a condition that needs to be met before they unlock those feelings within themselves. So they're like, well, once I'm in the relationship, then I'll love myself. Or once I make all that money, then I'll feel successful. But it's like you could give yourself permission to feel successful right now and look at everything you've done in your life and see that as success if you wanted to. But you don't because you want it to be about money and you're trying to use that to like motivate yourself, right?
Right.
So it's really a game of like, what's the essence I'm going for? Why aren't I cultivating more of that now? How can I, in fun and creative ways, start to cultivate more of those emotional states now? And then you attune yourself to the frequency of what you've been asking for.
So when you say success, I like you bring this up because so many people equate success with how much money I've made. That's just like where the mind goes.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
asking somebody, what does success mean? What does it feel like? Is such a different thing, you know? Like, what does it mean to feel successful? And it doesn't have to just be about what you're earning. It's about what have you done that you're happy with?
Yeah, it could literally be like your gardening project.
Yeah,
Or like, for example, yesterday I was spray painting for the first time a fence and I've never stained a fence before, but it was like actually looking good. And I was like, look at me,
I
you know,
know.
success.
Right. Well, and that's that creative aspect of ourselves that personally I find the
Yeah.
best, you know.
Yeah.
What can I create? I'm not earning a dime from that, but I love seeing beauty in
Yeah.
action, you know.
Creating, adding value, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be just money. Or even like, let's say you always choose like really toxic partners, but then you finally like end up with someone good. Like that is a major success. Okay.
Yeah.
Major, huge success.
Well, it's funny that you bring up relationships because what is it? I mean, so many people date the same person over and over and wonder why they keep attracting the same type of person and it's miserable, right?
Yeah.
How do
I
you break
mean,
the
my
cycle?
theories from my law of attraction perspective and from my personal experience of being in a lot of like toxic stuff before I met my husband is that until you face the mirror that is yourself, like your life is going to keep giving you opportunities to look in that mirror.
Right.
But if you don't look in the mirror and you don't face it and you don't be honest with yourself and make some important changes, then yeah, you're going to keep attracting the same person and wondering, oh my gosh, why are they the embodiment of everything I hate about myself? Why do they treat me so bad? Oh yeah, because that's literally how you treat yourself.
Well,
You know?
exactly. And then you could apply that to everything in your life, not just relationships. I
Yeah.
mean, it could be what you're attracting for work or anything. It's like all the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it's like synonymous, the law of attraction. You could swap it out for the law of mirroring. Like
Hmm.
whatever's going on internally, you're going to have an opportunity to face it or see it out loud in your life externally. And that's not to like shame people because there is like this weird shame in the spiritual community of like, oh, what did you do to manifest that circumstance? Like, you must be so out of alignment. And it's like, no, 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 we're not saying that. We're just saying if there's something in your outer reality that you don't like, let's turn it into a metaphor and look inward and see if we can do some harmonizing there. And then the reflection will also change
Right. Because the mind's always projecting itself out to something else outside of us all the time. Yeah. I
all the
mean,
time.
everything is essentially a mirror. It's like I look at like we're just a big movie projector, you know.
Yeah,
What blockbuster hit am I going to project today? You know,
literally.
how
That
much
does make it
drama?
more fun and entertaining for sure.
Oh my God, that's funny. So you started off writing other books first before this one. So
Yeah.
what did you notice that in either yourself or in the clients that you work with that wanted to bring this book out about, you know, why it's not working for you? So what have you noticed over the years?
Yeah, so it's interesting because the idea for the manifesting fix actually came to me a long time ago, like when I set kind of in the first year or two of becoming a teacher and blogging and writing. And I was writing a blog post that essentially was like, this is why the law of attraction works for some people, but not you. Okay, you've got blockages. Here's what's going on. Here's what we can fix, yada, yada. And the blog post was getting so long. I was like, this could be a book.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, ding. And I like wrote the title, I wrote the outline. It had a different title at that point. I was gonna call it Why the Law of Attraction Works for Some People, but not you. But that was too long. My publisher said no. So we changed it to the manifesting fix.
That isn't going to work.
But essentially, like, I think at that time people weren't ready to troubleshoot their manifesting because it wasn't as mainstream. Like now everyone's tried it. We've had some success,
everywhere.
some failures. We're like, okay, I need something a little deeper than just like more manifesting methods. So that's where the manifesting fix comes in. But like the other books I wrote were more the manifesting 101, like how to do it, some different practices, how to work with crystals. Here's some affirmations, here's some scripting exercises, meditations, all that. And then over the years, I realized that the only thing that stops people from achieving their goals, because they can do all the manifesting methods they want, all the goal setting techniques in the world, but if it's not happening, it's usually because people have some form or another of resistance. So that's when resistance troubleshooting became like a big part of my work. And I was already writing about it 10 years ago, but all this time has passed where I've been doing my own resistance releasing and helping clients release their resistance. And just on the other side, seeing the breakthroughs, that's when I was like, okay, the book is more ready. The people are more ready. Like, this is the time. We need to make it happen.
Absolutely, because there's a lot of fluff in the manifestation world, right?
Yeah, my book is like anti-fluff, like the no BS guide. Like I'm gonna call out the fluff. I'm gonna tell you, probably some hot takes, and we're gonna keep it real.
Well, and I mean, your own personal story is interesting to me because it's like something it's almost like counterintuitive. It's like I wanted to be this, but then this happened. So how much do you discuss, maybe not, in the book, but just in general about like being open to like, yeah, life can throw you a curveball and maybe that curveball is actually leading you to your destined role in life or path.
No, definitely. I write about my story of not being able to dance and all that in the book. And in the book, I also write about like, it's not just your will at play, like how we were talking about earlier. You're also co-creating with God, with all the energy of the universe, with other people on this planet. Like everything is a co-creation. So, of course, your one positive thought you have of the day is not just going to manifest like that. You know, there's a little more to it.
Well, and there can be a little arrogance in that. Like I'm
Yeah,
master of the universe and I can
right.
get what I want when
And
I want it. And that's to
right.
me,
And
that's
what
just
I write in the book is like, you are a creator, but you are not the creator. So let's
right.
not get it twisted. Like, you are God, but like lowercase g. You are a fractal of the whole. You are
Right.
not actually God. You're not going to control the weather. You're not going to make yourself 6 inches taller. Like, let's be humble, but also like grounded in our human nature. Like we chose to be humans for a reason. Do we have limitations? Yes. Do we have flaws? Yes. But that's all part of like what we wanted to come and experience. So let's do that.
Exactly. I love that you say that. It's so needed. I love
Yeah.
it's just like let's get real, people.
There's a lot of nuance that's needed that's been missing.
Well, it is, and you're starting to see a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
I think I don't know, people need real voices. They need real authentic. Don't give me the fantasy of what's possible. Like I want to know what's truly possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And like not the fantasy of the process to get there, but like how do I actually get there, which might involve, some like looking inward or some taking action or, they just make it seem like so sexified. Like, oh, you just ask and it'll show up like cosmic Amazon. Like it's awesome. And I'm like,
Right.
if you're super aligned, sometimes, yeah, but most of the time, the reason why you want something is because you want to become that person in that version of that life. So it's like a journey of becoming and creating and aligning. It's not just asking.
So you mentioned something earlier about, the frequency that you are in and your energy field. Can you talk a little bit about that if you're wanting, like for the audience, it's maybe desiring something in their life. How would you recommend, getting yourself in a state of being, I should say, to let that happen, allow it to happen in your life?
Yeah, so it's different for different people, but I'll give like some top ways that you can do it and people will like see themselves in it. So one way is through the body. So if you like yoga or working out or running or breath work, like that's a great place to be like, okay, today on my run, I'm intending to feel XYZ feeling that I have associated with my dreams, right? That we learned about earlier. And I'm gonna like let my runner's high like take me there and I'm gonna like hang out there for a few minutes. Okay, so that's one way, similar to the way you would meditate on a feeling. So you can conjure up like a memory or even a fake story or a visualization of the future that brings you that feeling and you hang out in that feeling. For most people, I like to recommend some type of gratitude practice, which I write about in the Manifesting Fix as like one of the cliche things that I actually do agree with the manifesting community on is that, like, yes, gratitude will take you very far because anything that you want, you'll probably feel grateful once you have it, right? So if we can cultivate more gratitude now, you're just making yourself more magnetic. And that can be a practice of journaling every morning, every night, just a couple of things. That can be telling your spouse how grateful you are for them. That could be today I'm going to find 10 things I didn't see yesterday that are actually like blessings in my life that I've probably always taken for granted. So it's like just living more intentionally throughout your day of how can I cultivate this feeling more? And to give just another practical example, like let's say you do want to manifest more money so you can feel abundant or whatever it is. What I like to do is go into my backyard and be like, look at all these leaves because I live in the Carolinas, so I have all these trees in my backyard. And I'm like, I am literally already a multimillionaire in leaves. Look at all this green, you know? And I'm just feeling so abundant. And then I go into my fridge and I look at all my snacks and I'm like, I'm just abundant with snacks. And then I go to my phone and I look at all my contacts. I'm like, look at all these friends I have. I'm just abundant with friends. And you can cultivate those feelings in stuff that you already have now.
Hmm.
But usually we just don't think to do that, or we just don't want to do that because we're saying to ourselves subconsciously, I'm not going to let myself feel that feeling until I achieve that goal. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, no, no. We achieve the feeling first, and then the goal will be more easily achieved.
Yeah. So you're essentially reframing something that the mind would see as a lack and
Yeah.
turning it into something of abundance, right? It could be
Hmm.
anything.
Yeah, because you might be like, oh, I'm lacking money, or I'm lacking love, or I'm lacking this, or I'm lacking that, or I'm lacking health. And it's like, but are you? Let's see if we can reframe and look with a different perspective and see what we find.
If you're a QuickBooks customer looking to grow without the growing pains, you need the Intuit ERP, the AI native ERP that upgrades right from QuickBooks. Learn more at intuit.com/ERP.
Need a laptop that's built to perform and designed to last all day? Select Windows 11 PCs starting at $499.99 are now at Best Buy. Learn more at bestbuy.com. Best Buy. Imagine that.
Choice Hotels get you more of what you value. Here's a little tune to help you remember. Same drive, different day. Don't you wish you were getting away? Pack your bags and come on through. Texas, Ohio, Alaska, we're up there too. Comfort Inn, it's calling your name. Save on the stay. Oh, and free waffles are yours to claim. Well, I hope you like my little song. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
Well, you brought up gratitude, and this is something like with people that are stuck,
Yeah.
really stuck, and they feel like, shit's hitting the fan all the time. Nothing's working. You know, everybody's probably been there with on some level in their life where it just feels like nothing is moving. But that concept of gratitude, like if you can look at the past that you thought was horrific and go in there and then see, well, where was there gratitude? Where could I see that that moment was actually, I was supported in it? Or, can you talk a little bit about that, or maybe in your own life or people that you've worked with who are really down, like
Yeah.
using that
So
to reframe it?
when I was depressed, that's when I started my gratitude. So I know how hard it can be when you're like grasping for air and you're like, how can I be thankful for anything? My life is horrible. But it's like in that case, you got to start small. Like I started with like, oh, I'm thankful for this bed that all I want to do is sleep in. Like I'm thankful, that I at least want to feel better. I'm thankful for empty carbs because that's like the only thing I find solace in these days. So it's like
That bag
start
of chips.
small and grow the muscle. Like you can grow the muscle even from a tiny baby seedling. So that's a huge part of it. And the looking back exercise that you mentioned, I write about this in the Manifesting Fix. I think I call it the hallelujah list. And I have people look back at everything that was like bad or didn't work out and then say, hallelujah. Like, thank God I didn't work out with that person because I would have been married to them. Thank God I didn't get into that apartment because then I wouldn't be in this one. Like, thank God I got into that car accident and met that amazing physical therapist who like helped my body and turned me into like this professional athlete. Or thank God like this happened to bring in some sort of positive change or blessing. So it's like if you can access that state of mind, probably not from depression, but start small, build your muscle, then you can start playing that kind of game where you look back and say, dang, in the moment, I really thought that was like the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
But now I realize it had to happen so my life could be like this.
And then you're looking back and it's like training wheels. I get this image of training wheels because it seems that the more you can look back, especially if somebody who's really stuck and start small and keep implementing that, then it's like you can start applying the shift in the present moment. So then you start realizing if something comes at you that you're not wanting, you might change your mind and say, you know what, maybe this is here to show me something new. And I mean, isn't that where you're getting at? Like, hey, anything that's going down in your life is really an opportunity because it's showing you a new way. And it's really about how you're perceiving it.
Yeah, and I like to label the contrast or the unwanted stuff that happens to us as like step 0 of the manifestation process, because experiencing the things you don't want is what gives you the clarity to build the life that you do want, because you go through all those horrible relationships and you're like, I never want to experience that again. That was terrible. Or you go bankrupt and you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. I'm ready to be rich. This is stupid. Or you go through like a health crisis and you're like, oh my gosh, I never want to get there again. It is time to get on my health journey, So it's like that contrast, those rock bottom moments are what initiate the spark for you to want that amazing life and for you to start lining up with it and have the motivation to do so. Because if you didn't experience the crappy parts, you wouldn't be so motivated either or have the energy to really back you up in your journey.
Right. So how much of getting something that you want in your mind, maybe you put it on paper, you do a board, whatever you do, whatever people do to visualize their future. And then how much of it is just letting go of, the details and how we're going to get there so that eventually you just let go, like hand it off to whatever terms you use, universe, spirit, whatever, God, and just let it happen.
Yeah. That's such a good question. So it is a dance. It is like doing the intention setting work, taking action towards it, but also staying super open and flexible on the journey. And there's this annoying manifesting advice in the law of attraction community that's like, just be less attached, practice non-attachment. And I think everyone can relate to the sentiment of like, okay, but the whole reason I'm trying to manifest this thing is because I'm literally attached to getting it and I really want it. So I don't know how you're telling me to like just not be attached. That's so annoying, right? I write about this in the book. And really, the advice I give people is not be less attached, but what you want to hold on to is not like the vision or the image or the thing. It's the essence that we were talking about earlier. So once you've distilled your desire to a feeling, to your genuine desires, like hold that as your North Star, start cultivating those now, and also stay open and flexible on the journey as to how it's going to manifest, when it's going to manifest, who is going to help manifest it, exactly what it's going to look like. The beauty of doing visualization work and being really specific is that it can make you feel excited and like you put yourself in that vision. So that's for you. That's not really to tell the universe it has to be exactly this thing, you know? So I think people get confused that like, oh, I'm supposed to be super specific because it's supposed to end up like that. And it's like, no. The specificity is for people who have fun with the details. And then you still have to stay open because it might look a little different or it might come through different people or, you know, it might not be that person. It might not be your ex. It might not be, you know, like we got to stay open and flexible but hold the essence.
Well, you do have to be flexible. I'll share something with you because it fits right into this. Is years ago, I love renovating. And so my husband and I have bought a couple homes and renovated them top to bottom. And we were in a rental home at one time. We had 4 kids and it was like, you know, chaos. And we were thinking we would buy this house that we were in, you know, just rent to own it. And I was drawing like all my renovation images. I'd get all these images and create it all, right? Well, we put an offer in for this house and they declined it. They didn't take it. So I was like, damn, you know, shit, that's not it's not going to happen. Well, we ended up finding this other house. And in that house, all the things that I had drawn out, all the images that I had were in that new house. So
wow.
It's like, it's kind of that, what you're saying, I didn't hold on to, I was flexible about it, even though I was kind of disappointed at first.
Yeah.
But it came out in another way. So that's really important to tell people.
Yeah, it's so important because you never know. Like, especially, I mean, love is just such a relatable example because, like, how many times does someone think, like, oh, my ex is the only person for me? Or, like, this person I have a crush on it's the only one that, and it's like, girl, there's literally billions of people here. You have plenty of people in your soul tribe who you could be happily married to, you know? So, like, let's stay a little open and flexible out here. But yeah, people get so set and fixated on like that specific dream job or that specific dream house or looking a certain way. And it's like the only reason you want those things is again because you want to feel a certain way. So just stay focused on the feeling, but be open and flexible with the details, and you will have a much easier ride.
Well, it kind of ties in with what you said earlier about the community, the manifestation community using, well, just be unattached. Well,
Yeah.
well, but why would, it's like if I was unattached, I wouldn't even have an image of anything I wanted. I would just be free
Right.
for all. I don't care what happens in my life, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like you're allowed to care. Like, don't, and I write about this in the book, like, don't be cool and be like, oh yeah, I'm cool if I'm single forever. Like, I don't need a man. Or like, oh yeah, I'm too cool for money. Like, that's so materialistic. I would never. Or like, if you really want that, like, it's okay, girl. It's okay.
Well, we live here in this world, and guess what? It requires money to like
Right.
keep a roof over your head. Like, let's get real. You
Yeah.
know?
Literally.
But maybe the unattachment is really the unattachment to the way that it, you know, the outcome. You know,
Yeah.
like you said, you're switching that and saying, hey, it's the feeling, be flexible in the outcome.
Yeah, and like the unattached part is you want to unattach yourself from a timeline for sure. And I always say the who and the when. So the when being the timeline, but the who being like that specific house or that specific job or that specific person. It's like, no, no, no. The essence, we hold on to that, but the specifics, universe knows best, life knows best. There's a lot of opportunities that you've probably never even seen or heard of. So how are you to know to even think of them?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, maybe we could dive into a little metaphysical topic for a second.
Yeah.
In metaphysics, right, there's this concept or theory that everything's already happened.
Mhm.
You know, it's already occurred. And we believe that we have free will, right? And this linear perception of time and space or whatever. So you and I sit here and we think we're making these decisions, right? We think we have these choices and it seems like that, right? But what do you think about if it's already happened? Am I just tapping into something that's already occurred and I'm getting an image of it in the future? And then it's just happening as opposed to me actually, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not
Yeah.
really doing what I think I'm doing. It's already
Yeah.
happened. I don't know. It's just something I think about.
I do think about that sometimes as an overthinker, as a seeker. And my theory is, so far in my life, is that when we have a desire, it's sometimes just a premonition.
Hmm.
So it's like,
Right.
oh, I really want that thing. And it's because like, yeah, you already did that.
Well,
So
right. That's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
I think that's definitely a possibility. I also like, and now this is like, I guess, I don't know, the new science or whatever that they're saying that things aren't real until you observe them, right? So the observation effect or whatever they call it. So then there's that. So it's like your mind makes things happen, like makes it real in that moment. So yeah, it's very interesting to overthink about for sure.
It's just more like that philosophy that
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always thinking about. So it's funny you mentioned that. My daughter just came to me the other day and she's like, Mom, did you know, like she's in college and she's like,
Yeah.
it's not real unless it's observed. I'm like, what? So we had this conversation recently and I thought it was
Mhm.
interesting. Yeah, I was not up on that knowledge, but she
Yeah.
filled me in.
That's good. That's good. That's the latest. Well, the funniest thing about quantum physics is like they still don't understand it. And they're always like, oh, we think it's this. Oh, we think it's
Oh,
that.
I
Oh, we
know.
think it works like this. Oh, we think it works like that. And we're like, nobody really knows. We're all just floating around on this speck. I was thinking
Well,
that movie Horton Hears a Who. Did you ever watch that?
oh
It's
yeah.
so cute where they're on the speck. Yeah, I always think of us like that. I'm like, we're just out here floating on this speck, so we might as well just like have fun and live our best lives.
And like you bring up, be flexible. Like be
Yeah.
flexible. You don't know what's coming. You don't always know. I mean, we have these,
Mhm.
like you said, premonitions maybe of what's coming.
Yeah,
And if you're working like psychically, you're picking up on, what the akashic field, you're picking up on some information.
so much.
And the only way that could be there is that it already happened,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah, like everything has already happened, is already happening,
yeah,
is going to happen. Yeah.
why some people foresee it. Yeah. Then they say, well,
Yeah.
then there's due timelines. And I'm like, okay, well,
I mean, yeah, because if you make a different choice, then you can hop onto a different timeline. Like if you make the choice to do something illegal, now you're on a timeline to like get pulled over or go to jail. But if you don't make that choice, then you're not on that timeline
yeah.
because why would you get pulled over? You're just going to go on your happy way. So, yeah, it's definitely gets a little complicated. Try and visualize in your head.
It does. Well, because we're really talking about practical manifesting, right?
Yeah.
How it affects your daily life. Like, what are some, little tools that you would suggest for people that are, just you get up in the morning and, like, what do you recommend if somebody's wanting to change or shift their vibration or attract something new into their life?
Yeah, so obviously what we talked about of cultivating the feelings in as many ways as you can think of and afford to do and want to do all of those things. And I want the listeners to start seeing themselves differently. So
Mm.
imagine the version of you who already has that life or has achieved that thing. How do they think? How do they speak? How do they dress? What's their daily life look like? And start to just not role play because you're not faking it and you're not acting as if, which I hate those phrases and I complain about them in my book. But it's more that you are like, just speeding up the transition to become that person. Like that is the future you, but you need to tap into their energy a little more and start behaving more like them, and it
Hmm.
will happen faster. So it's a little bit of living intentionally, especially with your emotions, cultivating the feelings, and then also equal parts like mindset of how you see yourself, identity work. And then people always forget to be taking action out here because they're like, oh, universe is going to give it to me. I'm like, do something
You have to
to
move.
bring the goal closer to you. And the analogy I always like to give is like magnets. Like two magnets, if they're not in range, they're not going to like magnetize to each other, right? So
Hmm.
you need to make yourself in range of that goal. You need
Yeah.
to make yourself a little bit closer so it can stuck to you? So
Right.
that's kind of like the three parts. So intentional with your feelings, cultivating that essence that's your North Star, identifying as the future you, and just like fully stepping into that version in little ways, just daily
Yeah.
little ways. And then do
Do
something, take some
something.
sort of action to move you closer to where you want
Right.
to go.
Well, Nike's got the biggest slogan in the world, the branding, right? Just do it.
I know. I literally put it in the book. Did you ever see that that Shia LaBeouf video where he's like, "Just do it"? Did you see that one?
I did not see it, but I can picture him doing
Oh,
it.
yeah. So basically, it was just really intense, and he was like
Yeah,
telling everyone to just do it.
just do
So
it.
in the book, I wrote, and in the words of Shia LaBeouf and Nike, just do it. You gotta do it.
Well, and I think you're right. It's like get out of your head for five
Yeah.
seconds and just Stop talking about it too. A lot of people, they're just talking in circles.
Yeah.
Just get out of it and just do something, just little steps. If you're somebody who can't just do it, start small.
Yeah, do something. It doesn't have to be do it like the whole dream, but like do one thing that will, make you feel better and move the needle a little bit.
Exactly. Well, I love this conversation, Kelsey. I'm thinking that it's a great place to wrap up. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience? Please tell us where we can find you. I know that you offer courses and freebies and all kinds of things. So please, let us know where you're at.
Yeah, I guess I just want to leave everyone with the message of your desires are yours for a reason, so don't ignore them. They will help you to grow, become, live your best life. If you follow them, if you resist them, you will be miserable. So I would not recommend that path. I would recommend embracing your desires, embracing what you love, embracing your gifts, living your best life. And just know that you living your best life and creating your own heaven on earth is only going to bless everybody around you. So it is not selfish. Don't come for me, Karens, saying that it's selfish. The Manifesting Fix is coming out December 1st, but you can already pre-order it, which I recommend so you don't forget about it. That's already available for pre-sale anywhere books are sold. If you go to KelseyAida.com, that's where you can find all my courses, freebies, resources, blog posts, all that. I'm very active on Substack, so you should get on my Substack list. It's called Aligned and Abundant, and I send you almost weekly essays and just little blurbs straight to your inbox to help you live your most aligned and abundant life, of course. And then another free resource is my podcast, High Vibin It, which if you're listening to this, you probably love podcasts. So I think you'll like it over there. And yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me. I'm Kelsey Aida on all the social media. And I'm just happy to have people use me as a resource because I've created a lot of stuff over the years to help people.
Well, that's wonderful. I'll make sure and link everything in the notes for everybody. And thank you so much for being here and joining me today, Kelsey. Come back anytime.
Thank you.
That's it for today's show. Thanks so much for listening. If it resonated, please share, follow, and drop a review with your takeaways. It really means a lot. Visit my website at liveLikeEden.com to subscribe for weekly reminders and blogs, or sign up for a free 30-minute consult to explore one-on-one guidance sessions if you're really struggling in Awakening's darkness. Take my Awakening quiz to get a personal podcast playlist that meets you exactly where you're at. See you next week for another deep dive.